this podcast that I'm preparing with my friend Arjun. This podcast is called Data Over Coffee, and we'll be discussing in a relaxed mode what are different data concepts. So thank you for joining us one more time, and I hope you enjoyed this session. And today we have a really interesting topic, which is super trendy nowadays, and you will hear about it in few seconds. But before of that, I want to check with you, Arjun. How are you doing?
Hi, Ramon. Thanks. I have been good. Quite a busy week last week. I finished up the project that I was working on with the client, and I'm starting the next client from Monday or Tuesday. We'll know. But yeah, so just been taking my time to work on my stuff and Softcraft Studio in the meantime. But yeah, I've been good. How are you?
Nice.
How was your week?
I'm all right, but before I jump on that, could you remind us what you do in Softcraft Studio?
What happens is when you join a company or when you enter the corporate world, fresh out of college, you don't have the practical knowledge of tools that you're using or the concepts that are used in the job. You only get to know them when you enter the world, corporate world, and you start working. So things like, if I'm a test analyst, then what tools am I using in my day-to-day work, right? So what I wanted to do is basically try and get this knowledge and give this knowledge to anybody who is looking into the analyst world, not just test analyst, but data analyst, BI developer, business analyst, test analyst. So sort of trying to prepare you before you actually enter the world. So Softcraft Studio is a community built around three main things. One is the templates that I create, and these templates are available on the website and on the Etsy store. So these are the templates that are most commonly used in your day-to-day job, right? So if you're a test analyst, your templates would be like a test plan template or a test or a defect management template. So things that you can use from day one in your job. So these are the templates that Softcraft Studio offers. Then we have the micro courses on videos on YouTube. So we explain like some concepts in the analyst space. So whether you're a test analyst, you want to know and understand what shift left testing means, then we have videos that are covering those little concepts, and they are 5 minutes, 6 minutes videos, so you can quickly grasp the concept. You don't have to invest 1 hour or 2 hours learning new things. It's sort of a just a refresher or something, if you can call that. So those concepts are in form of videos that are on YouTube. And then the third one is we keep posting regular blogs. So any new trending topic or anything, the concepts that we talk about on YouTube channel, we also like sort of write blogs around them, and so you can have something in print as well. So these are the three main elements of Softcraft Studio: the templates, the videos, and the blogs. And this is sort of a community that I want to create, where each and every analyst in their early career, or if students are trying to get into the test analyst role or a data analyst role, and they want to understand how the day-to-day looks like, what tools are used, what are the concepts, so they can come to softcraftstudio.net and they can see these resources that can be helpful for them. So that is Softcraft Studio. But thanks for asking.
It's interesting because also we know each other, we speak about data, but also probably it could be related with the thing that you are doing, or probably someone in the future would like to build something that similar to what you're building. So I think it's really important to share. It's the same thing that I speaking to you before, that even the books, like people see us like, wow, man, you do so much. But the thing is like, when you work purposely in the things that you like, actually things start to come much easier. And I think that for me, I'm probably the same as you, and that is why we relate each other, is that the amount of books that we have read, it have helped us heaps. And so the question is for me now, which book are you reading at the moment? at the moment?
So the book that I'm reading at the moment is called The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan
Yeah.
Holiday. And what Ryan talks about in that book is he shares different stories of different people from the history and throughout the ages. He talks about people and how they turned those obstacles into an advantage, basically. So if you are in a situation where you think that something is blocking you, if you see something as an obstacle, then how you can turn that obstacle into an advantage that you can use. It's a very good book.
Do you think that you could relate that into your technology career somehow?
Oh, 100%. Yes. A lot of situations in our day-to-day job, right? We meet with different people. We are in multiple situations. So for me, my role basically is every client, every new project is a whole new environment for me. So I just finished up one project that I was working on for the last 9 months, and I'm starting up my new project next week. So now going to this new project means that I'm going into a new environment, right? And with new environment comes new challenges, new set of obstacles. So it's the same for, I think, everybody um, who is working in a corporate world, and not just corporate, even anybody, for example. Everyone feels at some point of the other that something is an obstacle or a barrier that they uh, can't get through. But it's all in the mindset, like we mentioned before as well. So most of the books that we read on either getting rich or how to build a career or how to manage life, they all talk about one theme, and that theme is your mindset. So basically, how you think, how you look at things, these are the important characteristics of how you want to train your mind. And then once you are doing that, then it doesn't matter if you're in IT or in teaching or in sports, whatever industry you are in, whatever field you are in, you can use these same concepts because you have trained your mindset, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter where life throws you, you can use these same concepts and turn those obstacles into advantages, or you can at least get an idea of how to navigate through different courses of life or the phases. Yeah.
Cool. Interesting. So the book is The Obstacle is the Way.
The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. Yes.
All right. Thank you so much.
Are you reading anything interesting these days?
Yes, I think that sometimes if I go through seasons. I think in winter I tend to read less because I'm more busy with other stuff. For me, winter, because it rains a lot and that sort of stuff, I spend a lot of time studying, but or working in projects, and then I start to read less. However, in winter and summer, because I start to run more outside, so I start to listen more audiobooks. But then the books that I like in audiobook, I buy the book and I start to read it. It's a different process. Like some people say, like, what is the point to listen and then reading? But there are some books that are so good that I just want to buy it because it's a sort of like a reminder that every time, for example, if I listen an audiobook or if I read a book in the Kindle, like electronic book,
Yeah.
I still want to buy it because I feel like it's a token of reminder that, oh, that book was so good.
Correct.
And the book that I'm reading at the moment, because I bought it and I'm reading at the moment, is the Courage to Be Disliked.
Oh, that's a nice one. I haven't read it, but I've heard it's a good one. Yeah.
When I bought it, I thought it was like the courage to be disliked. That means that I can be however I would like to be, and then just be me. And actually, it's about so many different things. And I think that one of the most important concepts from this book is that sometimes we want to change the world, but sometimes the world doesn't want to change, and
Correct.
then we feels like hopeless, or we want to feel of lack of control or power.
Yeah.
However, it's not up to us that the world change. And then it shows one concept that is stick to my mind and is still reminding, and actually been commenting during conversation. It's like our obligation is to take our horse to the river, but it's up to the horse to drink the water.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Yeah.
So even though if I push the horse to drink the water, if the horse doesn't want to drink the water, it won't drink. And even it can die for dehydration. But my obligation is to bring the horse to the river, and it's up to the horse to drink the water. And that it means a lot, because
Yeah.
sometimes we want people to be have the courage to do this and that, and sometimes we push too hard, and sometimes we feel even disappointed where they're not doing what they say that is correct for that person. But actually,
Yeah.
my the thing that I advise is just an opinion. And so, especially in the career wise, that sometimes I say like so simple, just for example, online courses are everywhere. You just go there and learn. But if the person doesn't want to, because everyone is in a different journey, also is a part of compassion that you need to grow in yourself. And then you realize that it's okay. I mean, doesn't mean because all the knowledge is for free in the internet, everyone will have the same knowledge. It's impossible. And that is
Yeah.
why I feel that The Courage to Be Disliked is a really nice book, and I totally recommend. So I would like to move now to the topic from today.
Yes.
Just to remind us, my name is Ramon Zamorano. I am originally from Chile, living in New Zealand for the last 8 years. And Arjun Kataria, originally from India.
India.
How many years you been here already?
7+ years. Yeah.
So
So
similar
around the
years than
same
me.
time. Yeah.
And we came together to do this podcast for you and have a nice conversation. And the topic that brought us together today is AI. And AI is so broad and is so huge. I've been working in electronics for many years, and AI started just a microchip that has been able to put in instructions and do things for me. For example, first make a count, even a small calculator like those rudimentary calculators, electronic calculators, that is AI. And AI basically means artificial intelligence and no more than that. All right. However, AI is a set of instructions that we provide to a robot, a computer. You can call it computer, a microchip, a robot. You can call it however you want. And then when they perform all those instructions for us, that is artificial intelligence. However, the amazing revolution that we're seeing nowadays, firstly, is the compute power of the computers nowadays. And secondly, is something called that my friend Arjun will discuss, which is generative AI. Because this means that now the robots, the computers, the microchips are able to create unique things that we haven't trained for them. However, with a proper model, now the computer starts to create new things. It's like a new paragraph, a new sentence, combining things in a different way, or even create a paint for us that doesn't exist. This is what generative AI can do. So now I will leave the microphone for you, Arjun. So please explain it to us. What is generative AI? And I have some question for you.
Thanks, Ramon. That was a really good introduction to AI. I think you've already taken half of my introduction,
Sorry,
but no, that's all good. It's good that we have the basic of what AI is, but I think most of people don't know that AI is not a new concept, like you mentioned. AI has been the term artificial intelligence has been in existence since the 1950s. So it's definitely not a new concept. AI is older than most of us, at least definitely for me. Um, but yeah, so AI has been in existence for a very long time. Like you mentioned, yes, AI means artificial intelligence, and the early sort of, if I can call it, versions of AI were mainly like, yeah, these calculators and stuff. So artificial intelligence basically means a machine trying to mimic human intelligence. So in simple words, if I put it in a layman language, then artificial intelligence is basically just a machine trying to mimic human intelligence. So when I say that, that means like as humans, we are capable of reasoning, we are capable of learning, we are capable of problem solving, right? So these characteristics, if a machine can do, then that is basically an artificial intelligence. So the calculators that you mentioned, they were problem solving or they were calculating, right? So if you give a problem with 2 plus 2, then the calculator would give you back the answer, which is 4. Okay, so the problem solving, so you give a problem and you get the answer. That is part of human characteristics. If that can be done by a machine, then that is artificial intelligence. It's just a tip of it. AI is so much bigger than that, way more bigger than that. But with respect to the time that we have and AI being such a big topic, we won't get into everything. So that is why I would like to talk about just the generative AI part of AI. Now, having said that, AI has been in existence for so many years. Why are we now saying that this is the age of AI, right? Because at this stage today or in the recent years, I think it won't be wrong to say that most of the people who have internet access has some way or the other interacted with AI, right? So it can even be just using a chat GPT prompt, for example, which is again a generative AI. But everybody who has internet access has some way or the other touched AI in some form. Yeah. So that is why I say that this is the age of AI. But how did we come here, right? So where did it all start? If AI has been in existence since 1950s, then today, right now, it's 2025. So why did it take so much time, right? Now, the boom in AI started when Google introduced their transformer, which is the main technology behind the GPTs and the generative AI today. So this transformer was nothing but a model that was used by Google Translate to translate one language to another. So you see the Google Translate that Google has. So you enter something in English and then you select the language and then it translates you that phrase into the language of your choice. Now that was a transformer that changed the AI technology.
Because it wasn't a word by word transforming, it was a context as well. Because if you translate word by word, something doesn't mean anything in the other language.
No, 100. Yes. So the context, the full phrase, not word by word, but yeah. But that was where it started. The transformer that Google invented in 2017. I think it was 2017. Yeah, that's where it started. And that's why after that, we started seeing generative AI. So tools like Midjourney or ChatGPT or other tools that are under the generative AI umbrella. That's when they started getting more popular. Now, when we talk about generative AI, there are basically 3 things that you can do, right? So you've got 3 models. So basically, one is do text to speech. So you write something and then the output is in form of a speech or a voice or sound. The other is the other way around. So you can do speech to text. So you speak something and then the output comes in form of text. And then the third one, which is the most popular right now, is text to image, which is the Midjourney and the Sora that ChatGPT introduced. So all these are text to image. So you give a prompt and then based on that prompt, the model generates an image, right? So This is basically this is basically generative AI in a nutshell. You can do three things. You can write to speech, you can speech to write, and then you can text to image.
And what about when you attach a photo into a chatbot?
Yeah, so that is also something that is an extended version of uh, basically it's using more than one model. So you attach a photo, so that is image to text, and then the transformer decodes that photo and then uses the pixels
Pixels.
and yes, the pixels and stuff to understand what the photo is and what and then the prompt that you use with that photo. So whatever you want to do, then understands the context, what you want to do, and then it generates the output, right? Now, out of these, I would like to ask you a question here. Which one have you used, or which one do you think you use the most when it comes to a model? Do you use text to speech more? Do you use speech to text, or do you use text to image? Which one is your most go to?
Of course, in a personal life nowadays, ChatGPT it become our psychologist and so many other things. But let's just speak about even it help us to cook and so many things that we cannot name all the amount of uses. But because this is a data over coffee, I will tell you how I use it for data.
Yeah.
Okay. The way how I use it for data, firstly, is to create queries for me in SQL, then create code for me in Python. And the most incredible thing that I always wish to have something like this in the past is like take all this SQL query and transform it into Python, translate it into JavaScript, translate it into this. Those kind of things that I've been programming for many years.
Yeah.
And the thing is like if I could have a tool like this in the past, probably I could have done so many things differently. But definitely one of the things that I use, as you say, is text to. What was the name? Text to.
Text to speech or text to text can be one.
Yeah,
So you use text to
this one.
text.
Yeah, but the good thing is because Python has been in the market for so many years, and also, yeah, what we mentioned in the last episode, if you want to watch this, is Python for data analytics. This is another episode we have record. We spoke about that nowadays, uh, because Python is so in so many blogs, so many articles, and so many learning parts. AI being studied from there, and it's so much efficiency around there. But I would say the most one that I use definitely is for coding. I use ChatGPT and Gemini.
Yeah.
Gemini is really cool for extended text.
Yes.
ChatGPT is really good for Python. However, it doesn't manage really well with long scripts.
Yeah.
All right. Even though that I try in different ways, but it still doesn't manage it that well. So I use Gemini AI. But then if I want to create something like a dashboard with a different elements, but I don't know how I could put it, I use it Claude as a brainstorming.
Yeah.
So it showed me that how it could look like, and then I use it for creating a dashboard similar to that. But the cool thing of Claude is they use really nice libraries that make it look really nice, and it's a huge challenge to move that into Power BI because Power BI is really square and that sort of stuff. And lastly, the other way that I've been using LLMs, but this is something that I'm testing at the moment, is like you get the result from a forecast in a table.
Yeah.
And then I put that in a LLM, which is a large language model. Mm-hmm. It could be ChatGPT, or you can use something locally like Mistral or something like that. Yeah. And then I say, could you create a narrative about this forecast and make it look easy to understand into action?
Right.
And for example, for the user experience, we attach a spreadsheet, we make a forecast, and then using machine learning and other kind of technologies, and then it tells you in a simple text, we recommend you to buy 20 units of this.
Right.
And that's how I've been using recently for data.
Yeah.
And that opened an enormous amount of possibilities, because one of the hardest part is interpret the data. Sorry for my accent. And
good.
interpret the data. And so I think that AI, it will allow us to help us a lot on this.
Correct.
Because I don't know if in the school or when I was in the uni that it used to say, like, based on this data, write a paragraph and explaining what it say. Okay, we can see that the stock has been broken up and that sort of stuff. And all that narrative sometimes not that easy to comprehend, and also to have the abstraction to understand those numbers, but AI can put in a simple English. So this is the way how I am using generative AI nowadays. And I think I see so much potential. And to be fair, even though I work a lot as a data analyst, I don't see it as a threat. I see it as a opportunity for me to create amazing things.
Correct. Yeah. The last line, 100% agree. You don't see it as a threat. I'm like, so this is a sort of a concept that is going around, that AI will take our job. I think in the last episode you also asked what year AI will take your job. I think that's not going anywhere. So AI won't take anybody's job, but the people who are efficient in using AI, they might. So it's up to us to understand how we as analysts are using AI, and it is on us to sort of get familiar with AI tools, right? So that it's not something that we have to do because it is the trend. It is something that we should do because it is effective, because it can help us, right? So we spent hours and hours on something, and if that work can be done in a few minutes, then why not? Why not take that time back and invest that time in something else, right? So it comes to how you are working as an analyst, and these tools that you mentioned, few of the tools that you mentioned, and few of the use cases that you mentioned. I'll be covering that as well in a bit. But yeah, so these tools can help us in efficiently managing our workflows, right? So having said that, the most important thing about generative AI is how you communicate with the AI tool. So if you are using ChatGPT, for example, how are you giving that prompt, right? So what are you asking ChatGPT to give you? In what language are you asking ChatGPT? So this is where prompt engineering comes into picture. Prompt engineering frameworks, to be specific, are basically there are so many of these. So prompt engineering frameworks are basically a structure in which you write your query or question to ChatGPT to give you the output. Now these frameworks are, some of these are like, I have noted a few which are race, for example, tag. So you can remember it these in this way: race, tag, trace, create. So race stands for role, action, context, and expectation. So the way you write your query is basically you give a role to ChatGPT. So you are a data analyst, right? Then you add an action line. So you need to do this, and this, for example. Context, you write. So race, RACE, role, action, context. Context is why you want this output. So you give a little bit of background, a little bit of information in context. And then expectation is basically the format you want it in, right? So I want you to give the output in 5 bullet points, for example, right? So that is one framework, race, RACE. So you give role, you define an action, you give a little bit of context, and then you define your expectation. Then the next one is tag. You give a task, an action, and a goal. So I'll put the list in the description, maybe, or on the screen somewhere.
I think and sorry for stop you. Just
Yeah, yeah,
I think that make a lot of sense because sometimes I just throw ideas into the chat and the AI chat, but sometimes they start to ask me why you refer to that. It's because it's something like giving the guidance to the robot what to do. Because I think that humans sometimes we speak in ways that we think that the people will understand us. It's like
correct.
yeah, yesterday I went there, but you are not mentioned yesterday at what time, with who, where do you went. But sometimes our ideas are quite vague, and I
Correct.
think we need to be clear if we will, like same as we do with people with effective communication. I
Yeah.
think that we need to effectively communicate with the robots because probably the robots. I feel hungry. You want me to cook you something?
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying that, but I'm feeling hungry.
Exactly.
So you want me to prepare a snack? So we are so vague sometimes, and I
Yeah.
think that I will tattoo this word now on my skull. That race is a role, action, context, and expectation.
Expectation.
I,
Yeah.
I never heard it before, and I
Yeah.
think it's really good. Now I will start to introduce it into my prompts,
Yeah.
so I can give it some space to to
Yeah.
the AI bots to
Even
relax.
even better one that I would prefer is basically the other one called create. So create stands for context. So you give the context first, then
Okay.
you define the role. So CR, create, context, role, expectation, then action, then TE is two additional ones, which are tone and example. So you define the tone of the output. So this is basically if you're writing something, maybe an email or something like that, you want to define what tone you want to go for the output, right? And then example, you just give an example that ChatGPT can follow, and your output will be in that same example or in that same format that example follows. So create is another one, which is really good because it gives two more steps. Now there is one cheat. I know that there are so many frameworks out there that we can't remember everything, and it is difficult to, when we think about, like you said, we just give the prompts like we think, right? So we don't structure the prompt. That's fine. What I do is I write the prompt, and then I give one line saying refine this prompt as per create framework, and then I write my prompt. So what it'll do is it won't give me the output straight away. It will give me a refined prompt in the form of the create framework, and that prompt I can use again in ChatGPT to get my output. So you don't have to remember anything.
Do you think that creating a book with ChatGPT or any AI chat, it will create the same impact that other books have created for you so far?
It depends. The now why I mean what I mean by saying it depends is basically how you are using AI. If you're writing a book, how you're using AI, right? So if you're writing a book completely with AI, then I don't think so, because there are so many books out there on so many topics that AI will basically, what it'll do is it'll take data from all the available information on internet and throw at you, right? It'll vomit everything at you. But if you are writing in your own words and then asking AI to maybe refine it and give it a little bit of structure and format it, then yes, it can, because the words are coming from you, the ideas are coming from you, right? What you are doing is, so for example, if I write a book and I ask ChatGPT to maybe structure my chapters in a similar tone, so that it is consistent across the book, right? So just refine it a little bit. I'm not asking ChatGPT to write the book for me. I'm asking ChatGPT to refine what I've already written. In that way, yes, it can create an impact because the ideas are mine. The message that I want to communicate is mine. I'm just asking ChatGPT to refine it.
And so why you will read as a user later? So what is the point to read a book if I could ask to a chat AI to just a summary in 100 words? What do you think that someone will still go through a whole book, refine it by AI, and then you ended up with a book of 300 pages? What do you think that will be the point to read it completely if I just can ask to AI to summary for me in 100 words?
Yeah, now that's a really interesting question, Ramon. Thanks for that. And I feel this is not related to AI at all. This is related to the individual and the mindset, right? So if right now I am reading The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday, right? I can quickly go on ChatGPT and I can say, give me a 100-word summary of The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday, and it will give me that. An apt summary. I don't need to read the book. But why do I do it? Because that is a process that I enjoy. So you read not to consume or not to learn something, but I mean, you do learn when you read books, but you also do it for the experience. So I can right now also, even if those books are not written by AI, any book that is available at this moment, I can go and ask ChatGPT because the data of that book is somewhere in the internet, right? So I can just go and ask ChatGPT to give me a summary of that book. Even William Shakespeare's books, for example, right? So they were not written by AI, definitely, but AI, ChatGPT or AI or cloud or any tool that you're using can summarize those books as well. So now the question is to you: do you do that, or do you go ahead and read the books yourself?
I think that definitely I keep reading the books because it's a offline mode that I have, which means that it's a good way for me to disconnect from technology.
Correct.
And also it start to become a reflection process. Or even though that, for example, English is my second language, I see phrases that are so powerful. And probably if I haven't read all those books, I wouldn't have that clarity on how to use the language.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we speak about a lot of items in English. You think that doesn't make sense, and then you put in a certain words and everyone uses it as a phrase. But if you are just coming from another language, there's things that doesn't make sense, but books gives you the opportunity to put it in a context, and also you try to guess. And there's so many words also that are not easy or they're not commonly used by AI bots.
Yeah.
So there are some unique words that are getting there. I think that, yeah, definitely I still will be reading books because, and even I know that some people really like the electronic books, but I think that the paper books is still my way because it's the way like I completely disconnect from technology. Times that I take my books for trips and I never open it. I think there's something quite common that I'll go for holidays and I will take my book with me, but you never open it. But I feel that sometimes books are also something like a token.
Yes.
Because sometimes you feel like the courage to be disliked is there, and it's there. And then you see that book, you pass it by so many times, but you still remember that it's there.
Correct.
And I found that there are certain times just books comes in the right time. I start to read books in the past that probably I wasn't ready for it, but now I feel that I'm ready for it. Or now I'm reading books that probably are not ready for it yet. And that is the amazing thing. I don't think that AI chat is always ready for me. but you cannot stop it. You cannot say to the AI chat, hold on, I'm not ready this. You can say, of course, I'm not ready for this, but in the context, in the complexity on the language, for example, I've been reading recently more books about philosophy, but 10 years back, definitely I wasn't ready. And even more in English, I wasn't ready to read books about philosophy in English, or even this whole abstract concept, but it blew my mind. But the thing is, like, books gives you the opportunity to bring you in this whole world.
Yeah.
I don't read much fiction. I think that probably is something that we'll explore in the future. But yeah, I think that the books are just as a good example how AI, it can challenge those kind of topics and those kind of industries. And the other thing is like, what about all those people? I cannot remember the name. All those people who review the books, the grammar and that sort of stuff. Do you think that that job will be lost because of AI?
I think, yeah, that's a good question. Because you can actually ask AI to review your book, and find grammatical mistakes and anything that is not consistent and stuff like that. But I don't think their jobs will be lost because of AI. I think, yeah, I don't know. I don't want their jobs to go because of AI. To be honest, I don't want anybody's job to go because of AI. But yeah, it again depends how industries evolve with the new technologies. So maybe it's a case that they also start using AI in their workflows somehow. I don't know.
I want you to stop you there as well. And I think that is something that I hope that we'll never forget as humans. Is the concept when we say, I don't know. Because nowadays when you say, I don't know, I will go right away and ask that question to internet or to AI chats.
Yeah.
But I think that when we say, I don't know, it's a whole amount of opportunities that our brain start to change in attack mode or something, like in a mode that start to create ideas. And I hope that we won't never lose that that part of us, because that I don't know is like when we're resolving technology problems that we do all the times, I force myself sometimes to don't go right away to the internet to find the answer.
Correct.
Because probably we'll be creating a whole unique new way to resolve those kind of problems.
Yeah.
But if we, for example, if the internet are 10 ways to do it, but what about the another 5 that hasn't been created yet? Because because there's a concept, I don't remember exactly the name, probably you know the name, is like if there are 100 ways to do one thing, AI, it will recommend us one of those 500 ways. Probably they will combine and will create something slightly unique, but based on those 100 ways to do it. But what about the other 100 ways that doesn't exist yet?
Yeah.
So we need to keep creating. It's like, for example, if we'll do this data over coffee podcast, all with a AI script. So basically, all those questions, all those reflections, it won't come that easy. And I think that we call this podcast data over coffee, and I feel that we're speaking about a lot about books now. But actually, this is plenty of technology and data. It's like how the generative AI take the abstraction based on data, based on neural networks and different kind of language models to just come out to something like that simple to a book that someone in the past probably they thought and believed that the books will never be touched by technology, but now we're facing a huge revolution on how the books gets created with the technology. So well,
and also coming to your point, because just because we are talking about books doesn't mean we are doing justice with our podcast, because like we mentioned in the first episode, data is everywhere, right? Everything
True.
is data, and even in books, publishing, or any other industry, for example, it's all data, and we are talking about everything basically. Yeah, but we'll try and stick to tech. So yeah, coming back to
Mm.
AI in tech, I think now there are a couple of things that I wanted to mention, was how we can use AI in our day to day as an analyst, right? So if you're a test analyst, you're a data analyst, whatever, how you can use AI. So for data analysts, I think AI, like you mentioned earlier as well, can be used for your data preparation. Like you give a file to ChatGPT and or any Gemini or Claude and ask to maybe create data out of it. So for test analysts like me, how I use it is, our company has a AI tool, Amplify, and what it does is I give the tool a scenario or a test that I want this data. So it's a format, and what it gives back is it will create 10 different data that I can test with, right? So data generation, data creation, data preparation, all these things can be done with the help of AI. You can use it to review your SQL codes, or you can use it to review your Python codes. So that can be one application that you can use, and it saves a lot of time, like I said. So if you review the code line by line yourself, it might take you a little while, but what you can do is you can copy that code, paste it in ChatGPT, and it'll give you a whole list of this is wrong, or it will even give you. So Copilot is one, or Microsoft Copilot is one which I use often. So what I do is, if I'm, like, for example, creating a dashboard in Excel or Tableau or whatever, and I give a formula, and maybe I'm missing a bracket or something, or I've used a wrong sign or a comma, I'm missing a comma. So these little things are, I might oversee it, right? But if I copy that formula and put it in Copilot and say, can you tell me what is wrong with this formula? It's not working. And it'll give me straight away the correct version. So yeah, you were close, but here's the corrected version. And it'll give you so it saves a lot of time. Then in data analysis and exploration, you can use it, like you mentioned, that you give a table for forecast or weather data, and you ask AI to analyze that data. Yeah, maybe find trends in that data. So you can use it that way. For visualization, Cloud, you mentioned, is a very good tool that can be used for creating charts or dashboards. So you give the data file, and even I think um, I think Copilot also does a good job in creating dashboards and charts. I haven't used it that much, but I have used it in a couple of occasions where I have given a file, attached a file, and then asked to analyze the file. And it asks me, do you also want me to create a chart based on the data? It's like, yeah, go ahead, for sure. And it gives me the chart. So it can be used as data visualization, for data visualization. Maybe not for the complex dashboards that we create using Power BI or Tableau for with DAX queries and stuff. But I think general visualization and basic visualization can be done with AI
Like
tools like Cloud.
data exploration.
Correct.
Can you create some insight from this table? And then
Exactly.
this is how you start the process, even way before of the data
Yeah.
modeling and that sort of
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Right. And then in testing or QA, like I mentioned, we have our own AI tool that we use for creating test data, or reviewing the test cases, or maybe writing the test cases as well. So it's something that can actually save time for me. So I can ask AI to uh, So I can give a prompt. Say, for example, I'm testing this software, and this is the purpose of the software. This is the implementation that is happening, and these are the affected so and so departments and stuff like that. And I want you to give me a list of test cases to cover for this testing, right? So it'll give me all the test cases that I can use, and sometimes and it also gives me positive and negative test cases, so I can go for a positive scenario or a negative scenario as well. And sometimes I have seen that it gives me test cases that I might have missed, because as a human, to err is to human, right? So we can make mistakes, we can miss out on a few things, but ChatGPT can also make mistakes. So yeah, this is something that I just realized when I said to err is to human, because ChatGPT and Cloud and any AI tools, they mention that AI can make mistakes. Please review it. So I think they're not too far away from being humans. Anyways, but I think these are the ways or use cases that you can use AI in. Another one is documentation is one that can be done with AI. So if you use Notion AI is one that can be used for generating documents and doing documentation for you. Then Jira is one project management tool that I think most of the projects use for managing their projects. And Jira has also introduced their AI, so you can write issues and descriptions, and you can get insights from Jira as well using their own AI tool. So I think right now every tool that we work with has either some way incorporated the AI in their models or come up with their own AI.
Do you think that always the way how they've been incorporating AI is really necessary? I've seen that a bit of everything has AI, but I've seen that things
not necessarily. I think most of the companies and most of the tools are incorporating AI because it is the next big thing. It is the trend. Everybody is doing it. So why do we miss out? So everybody's doing that, but not everybody is doing it effectively.
Yes.
So I think there are a few companies and few tools that has incorporated AI in a very good way. Microsoft is one. Microsoft has incorporated AI in a really good way. So, for example, Teams, right? We do Teams chats. We do Teams calls. The transcription that is getting generated is AI. It is voice to text that we mentioned, right? So we are speaking, but the system is generating a transcript.
Even I found that sometimes I put the wrong word because when I create a sentence, I didn't finish the word properly. And if it shows you what is the transcript and what is the AI transcript, and I slightly modified to put what the word that makes sense.
Correct. So it understands the concept, and even if the actual transcript gives you a word that sounds like what you said but is not exactly a word, then the AI transcript will rectify it. So I think I mean these implementations of AI has been really good. It has saved a lot of time for admin stuff, for our repetitive stuff, for stuff that takes so much time but might not add that much value. In those cases, AI is really good. But we still don't want to depend 100% on AI, because if we do that, then what are we doing, right? So I think AI can be used, but in a limited way, in a limited manner.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
And do you think that we are creating more work for us with AI?
It depends on the context.
For example, I found that, of course, AI is helping me to create more code. Of course, I'm able to create more. Let's say don't create, but let's say I am able to do more things with AI. I would like to give it a try to work a whole week with AI and see if I can produce the same outcome
Mm.
without doing it. Because I feel that sometimes, for example, you say in the QA world, I would like to do this testing, and with this testing, the app will pass. All right, it's a good app, pass the process, finish it, sign it off,
Mm.
deploy it. All right.
Yeah.
But now with AI, you can end up actually, Arjun, those are the 5 elements that you need to test,
Mm.
and then you ended up before you used to just do one, but
Mm.
now AI is recommend you to do 5 because they're
Mm.
better. They're
Yeah.
you name it. Because I miss the when I click the button, it crashed the app.
Correct.
You can miss many things.
Yeah.
But what about if AI actually is creating more work for you that you used to do before? Because
Right.
in the past we used to have apps that crash, and I
Mm.
can tell that today still there are certain apps that are still crashing, even with all the help of AI.
Mm.
What do you think? I just want to put this in the table because I seen that wow, AI is doing so much for us. Accountants ended up with more work than before,
Mm.
but I just want to see if we actually creating more value to the
Yeah.
output.
See, I think AI. So as a tester, I can ask AI to write test cases for me. It might add 3 or 4 test cases extra. Now it is up to me, according to my experience, according to my knowledge, whether I want to accept those test cases or not. Right. So any output that AI is generating, I will have to review it. I'm not saying that I'll blindly follow everything that AI is saying or asking me to. So it gives me 10 test cases. Initially, I might have only thought of 7, right? The extra 3. Now I will have to, as a experienced test analyst, I will have to see how important they are. What is the business impact of those test cases if not tested? So it depends on the context of what we are doing, and the work that AI is giving us, whether it is valid for us or not. So there comes the human part of things, of reviewing the work that AI has given, the output that AI has given. I will have to review it. And yes, at times I can go ahead with accepting those extra test cases or the extra work that AI has given. But then I have saved time in writing those. So if I were to stop, sit and think about and write about those test cases, I would have taken more time, which I saved by deploying that work to AI. Now, if AI comes up with 3 extra test cases, the time that I saved by allocating that work to AI, now it is up to me. I can utilize that time to cover the extra work that AI has given me, right? So the quality of work is going up. The amount of time that is taken to complete that work is not going up. So it's a it's a case to case, I would say. But yeah, that's a really interesting point.
All right. So it will depend up to the person. Just interesting of
Correct.
the people who doesn't have enough uh, experience yet in the work that you're doing, and you
Yeah,
blindly follow all the steps. If it
correct.
will create more hours of unnecessary work,
Hmm.
but it will be something to explore.
Yes.
And we are about to close. And first of all, I would like to appreciate you all your explanation with AI. You put it in a context because you work a lot in testing. I personally work more in data engineering,
Hmm.
and I can see a lot of potential for AI. And as I also was mentioned to you, I would like to give it a try for going in a week without AI and see how it works. Probably we could work together in this challenge. Let's say,
Definitely.
yeah, will be interesting, but and then we
Yeah.
can write it down a bit on that. And I think that another thing that just want to cover in 2 minutes is that AI, it has many words, and I created a presentation a while ago about the concepts of AI, and then because it was so much out there from one week to another that we couldn't catch up with all the concepts out there. And the concept that I want to just mention to you and then bring it to you some context is we have AI models, which each brand it has their own models. For example, we have Gemini 2.5 nowadays, which is belongs to Google. Then we have GPT-5, GPT-4, GPT 3.5, which belong to ChatGPT. This model has been sold to Microsoft. So Copilot nowadays are using it. And then we have Sonnet for Claude.
Yeah.
And which those are the most
Common.
models that I know.
Yeah.
And they are called LLMs. LLMs stand for large language models. And on top of that, so we have those models which are specific for each company. Then we have on top, those are get inside of LLMs, which is large language models. And then on top of that, we have generative AI, which is LLMs is apart from generative AI. As you mentioned before, generative AI has another concepts, which we're not diving into it, but just to put you in the concepts on the hierarchy level. And then we have something called deep learning, which is apart from machine learning. Okay. And on the top of everything this, we have AI. And this is another topic as well that is sounding a lot of in the last few weeks, which is agentic AI. Agentic AI is a huge concept that is coming, or it came, or is about to come even more, and which is everything about how you can interact. You can interact with a chatbot, but actually create a more like interaction like a agent. So you can create a bot based on all your data from your company, and then you will be able to create answers for the products, the policy that you have in your website. So it will bring more context, and then you will create a better interactions. It's like you will have your own chatbot in your website or your company or even your contact center, because now this is becoming like a conversational. And this is one of the topics that probably will be covering in the future, which is called agentic AI. I just want to say thank you so much, Arjun, for this conversation. I think we can speak for probably more AI podcasts will come, because there's so many things that we can cover. But today we covered just the overview of generative AI, as Arjun said. Thank you so much. Would you like to add something before we close?
No, I think thanks everyone. Thanks, Ramon, for your time. Like you said, AI is huge. It's massive, and it's not possible to cover the entire AI in one episode. So we will definitely be doing more episodes on AI, and in the future. And yes, I think we'll see you guys next time, and keep safe. Enjoy your time, and we'll looking forward to the next one.
All right.
Thank
you very much, Arjun. Thank you very much, everyone, to connect on this chat. If you have any questions, any comments, feel free to put something in below of the video, or please reach out us in the email that also is at the bottom. So thank you very much. I see you in the next session. We'll see you in the next session. Thank you very much, Arjun. Have a lovely rest of the day.
Thank you. Right. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.